Chosen one, this message has found you at the exact moment you were meant to receive it. You didn't stumble upon this video by chance. Spirit led you here. Have you ever wondered why your path has been so lonely? Why people you once trusted drifted away? Why no one seems to understand the depth of your soul? It's because you, the chosen one, were never meant to walk the same road as everyone else. You were chosen to walk alone, not as a punishment, but as a preparation. The loneliness you feel isn't emptiness. It's divine alignment. The universe has been stripping away distractions, separating you from chaos and isolating you for revelation. You've been placed in this season of solitude so you can finally hear the voice of your higher calling. This message is crucial for your spirit, and if you stay till the end, you'll understand exactly why walking alone was the most powerful blessing of your journey. Before we dive deeper, comment 777 below if this truth resonates with your soul. Let it be a sign that you're awakening to your divine purpose. Don't forget to subscribe, tap the bell icon, and share this message with another chosen one who's been walking through the wilderness alone. This message is going to shift your understanding of isolation, destiny, and divine timing forever. You were never abandoned. You were being prepared. And now, it's time to know why. The divine reason for isolation. Chosen one, there comes a moment in every divine soul's journey when the noise of the world becomes too heavy, too distracting, too unaligned. You begin to notice the pull to withdraw, to step away, to walk alone. At first, it feels like loss. It feels like rejection. But in truth, it is sacred selection. The universe, or God, or Source, whatever name your spirit knows, has set you apart for a higher reason. Your isolation is not a curse, it's a calling. When the Creator chooses you, He does not send you straight into greatness. He first separates you from the crowd so you can remember who you are without their voices echoing in your soul. The divine reason for isolation is purification. The chosen one must be emptied of everything that is not in harmony with their true purpose. Old habits, toxic relationships, limiting beliefs, all must fall away. That's why your phone stopped ringing. That's why certain doors closed. That's why the people you once leaned on suddenly disappeared. Spirit knew that if they stayed, you would stay small. Chosen one, solitude is where your spirit becomes unbreakable. It's the silent classroom where wisdom whispers. In that stillness, your divine intuition starts to sharpen. You begin to see through illusions that once blinded you. The things you used to chase now seem meaningless because your soul has outgrown temporary pleasures. When the divine isolates you, it's to reveal to you that you've been operating at a lower frequency than your true potential. You are being elevated, but elevation cannot happen in a crowd that keeps you bound to the ground. During this isolation, you may question everything. You might ask, why me? Why do I have to walk this lonely road? But understand this, every chosen one in history, every prophet, every enlightened teacher, every awakened soul walked a path of solitude before their light could reach others. Isolation births revelation. It is in the desert where the voice of God speaks the loudest. It is in silence that the chosen one learns divine discernment. The world trains the mind, but solitude trains the spirit. You see, if you had remained surrounded by noise, you would have continued living by their expectations instead of your intuition. Spirit had to pull you away so you could hear your own truth. You had to be emptied so you could be filled with divine purpose. That's the mystery of being chosen. What feels like abandonment is actually protection. The divine was never punishing you, it was preparing you. Those who left couldn't go where you're going. The vibration of your destiny was too high for them to breathe in. The reason you had to walk alone is because isolation refines the soul. It burns away the false identities you once wore to please others. It humbles you, softens your ego, and strengthens your connection to Source. When you're stripped of everything familiar, you're forced to find peace in the only place it truly exists, within. And once you find that peace, no one can take it from you. Chosen one, this divine isolation is your spiritual forge. The fire feels intense because it's molding you into something extraordinary. You may feel misunderstood, unseen, or even forgotten, but the truth is, you are being reborn. You are being prepared for the next level of your calling. Solitude gives you sight, the kind that cannot be taught, only earned through silence and surrender. When the noise fades, the truth rises, and in that truth, you meet your higher self. Don't resist this phase. Don't rush to fill the silence. Sit with it. Let it teach you. This is your sacred cocoon, and from it, you will emerge unrecognizable to the version of you that once needed validation. The divine has hidden you, not because you are unworthy, but because you are rare. Diamonds are not made in crowds. They are formed deep underground in pressure and darkness. The same is happening to you. Every moment you spend in isolation is not wasted. It's building spiritual strength, divine patience, and inner knowing. When you finally step back into the world, you won't just walk. You'll walk with power, clarity, and divine authority. The same people who once doubted you will see the glow they can no longer ignore. They'll ask, "What happened to you?" And you'll simply smile, because you'll know you met God in the silence. So, chosen one, trust your solitude, trust the separation, trust the stillness that's shaping you into who you were always meant to be. You are not losing, you are being positioned. You are not lonely, you are being recalibrated. Every tear, every quiet night, every unanswered prayer, it's all part of the design. Your isolation is divine orchestration. The divine reason for your isolation is simple but profound. You had to be alone so you could finally become one with your purpose. The separation, before elevation. Chosen one, before the divine lifts you into your purpose, you will always experience a season of separation. This is one of the greatest spiritual mysteries that few truly understand. You cannot rise while still holding on to what keeps you low. You cannot step into divine elevation while being surrounded by energies that belong to your past. So, the Creator begins to pull you away from people, from places, and from patterns that can no longer walk with you. It feels painful, almost unbearable at times, but this separation is the sacred doorway to your elevation. Many of you wonder, why did they betray me? Why did they leave when I gave them nothing but love? But chosen one, the truth is, they weren't meant to stay. The moment your spirit began to awaken, your energy started to shift. You were no longer vibrating at the same frequency as those around you. What once felt familiar began to feel heavy. The universe sensed that you were ready for the next level, but that level required solitude. When elevation is near, separation always comes first. The divine knows that not everyone can handle your transformation. The people who once walked beside you may love who you were, but not who you are becoming. And so, life begins to rearrange itself. Some friendships quietly dissolve, certain opportunities fade away, even your own desires start to change. You begin to crave peace more than company, silence more than noise, depth more than distraction. That is the sign that your spirit is preparing for elevation. Think about it. An eagle must leave the nest before it can soar. If it stayed among the branches, it would never learn what its wings were created for. In the same way, you, the chosen one, had to be separated from your comfort zone so you could rise into your divine power. Separation is uncomfortable, but comfort is the enemy of growth. Spirit is not interested in keeping you comfortable. Spirit is interested in making you capable. During this stage, everything may feel uncertain. You may feel like your life is falling apart, but in truth, it's falling into place. The divine is removing what cannot exist in your next chapter. Every ending you face is a divine beginning in disguise. So, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" begin to ask, "What is this teaching me?" The chosen ones are never meant to stay where they started. You were born to evolve, to ascend, to embody the wisdom of your trials. Chosen one, understand this. Separation exposes truth. When the divine begins to elevate you, masks start to fall. You begin to see people's intentions for what they are. Those who were only with you for your light cannot stay when that light begins to burn brighter. It's not personal, it's spiritual. The higher you rise, the thinner the air becomes, and not everyone is built to breathe at that altitude. That's why you had to walk alone. The separation season teaches you to rely on the divine, not on the crowd. It strengthens your faith, your resilience, and your intuition. You begin to realize that being alone doesn't mean being abandoned. It means being chosen for refinement. You start to trust yourself more deeply because your connection to Source becomes your foundation. The more you embrace your solitude, the more revelation flows to you. And then something miraculous happens. Peace replaces the pain. The storm that once broke you begins to awaken something unshakable inside you. You no longer chase what left. You no longer cling to what's gone. You begin to see that separation wasn't taking from you, it was saving you. The people, habits, and environments that once drained you are no longer attached to your destiny. The divine has cleared your path because elevation requires space. Chosen one, remember this truth. Separation is not the end. It is the preparation. The divine had to remove certain energies so you could carry lighter weight on your ascent. Every time you lose something, you gain clarity. Every time someone leaves, you grow closer to who you truly are. Your higher self is emerging, and it can only be birthed through this sacred detachment. So do not fear the isolation that comes before your rise. Embrace it. Let it cleanse you, strengthen you, and align you. The divine is not punishing you, it's promoting you. The silence you hear now is the sound of your next chapter being written. You are being separated, not because you are forgotten, but because you are about to be seen. Your elevation is already unfolding. Trust the process. The separation is only the beginning. Understanding the pain of being misunderstood. Chosen one. One of the hardest lessons on this divine journey is learning to live with being misunderstood. It's not just loneliness that weighs on your heart. It's the ache of realizing that people cannot see you for who you truly are. You speak truth, and they call you strange. You offer love, and they question your intentions. You try to share wisdom, and they label it arrogance. But this, chosen one, is not a flaw within you. It's a reflection of the distance between your vibration and theirs. When you are chosen, your spirit operates on frequencies most people can't tune into. You see life differently. You feel deeper. You sense what others overlook. And that difference, though sacred, makes you stand out in a world that fears what it cannot understand. The pain of being misunderstood isn't rejection from others. It's the cost of alignment with your higher self. The more awakened you become, the more your presence exposes the illusions that others still live under. To them, your light feels like discomfort. To you, their confusion feels like isolation. But listen carefully, chosen one. Being misunderstood is divine protection. Spirit hides your full truth from those who would distort or misuse it. You are not meant to explain yourself to everyone. You are not here to convince the world of your worth or your calling. Your purpose is not up for public approval. It is sealed in divine authority. The Creator allows misunderstanding to test your trust in yourself. Will you still walk your path even when no one claps? Will you still speak your truth even when your voice shakes? That's the test of the chosen. You've likely felt it, the sting of being labeled too intense, too quiet, too different. People may walk away because they can't handle your energy. Friends may fade because they can't comprehend your transformation. Family might distance themselves because your awakening challenges their comfort. And yet, every departure serves your destiny. You had to lose their understanding so you could gain your own clarity. The truth is, those who misunderstand you were never meant to define you. Their inability to see your light does not dim it. They could not recognize your growth because their eyes were still fixed on the old version of you, the one who tolerated, the one who conformed, the one who dimmed their flame just to belong. But the chosen one cannot stay small forever. Once your spirit awakens, no amount of misunderstanding can hold you back. Understand this. Your path will often look foolish to those who are asleep. They will question why you withdrew from the crowd, why you no longer engage in drama, why you spend time alone, why you talk about energy, purpose, and vibration. But you are not crazy. You are conscious. You are tuned to a higher reality that they have not yet perceived. Do not let their confusion create your doubt. What they call weird today, they will call wisdom tomorrow. Every great soul was misunderstood before they were celebrated. Prophets, visionaries, and teachers each walked through the fire of false judgment before their truth was recognized. The same pattern continues with you. When people fail to understand your silence, your compassion, your strength, it's because they are still operating on an older frequency. They cannot see what you see. They cannot feel what you feel. But the divine can, and that is all that matters. Chosen one. I know the pain cuts deep. Sometimes it feels like you're speaking a language no one else understands, but that is because your soul is ancient. You've lived through many lifetimes of lessons, and your spirit carries wisdom beyond this world's logic. So do not resent being misunderstood. Embrace it. It means your energy no longer fits the patterns of limitation. You are being called higher, and the higher you go, the fewer can follow. Let this pain refine your compassion, not harden your heart. Keep shining, even when no one applauds. Keep speaking truth, even when it's met with silence. The divine sees you. The universe hears every unspoken prayer in your solitude. Remember this. Those who misunderstand you today will one day realize you were a messenger. You were simply ahead of your time. Comment 333 if this truth speaks to your soul. And let it be your reminder that you are not crazy. You are chosen. You are not lost. You are being guided. The pain of being misunderstood is not a punishment. It is a purification. It strips away the need for external validation until your only anchor is divine truth. One day, those who couldn't see your light will come searching for it. Until then, walk proudly in your difference. For it is not a burden. It is your proof that you were never meant to be ordinary. Transformation in solitude. Chosen. 1. Solitude is not your enemy. It is your initiation. The moment you are set apart, the transformation begins. What feels like isolation is actually divine incubation. The divine pulls you away from the world not to punish you, but to prepare you. When everything and everyone is stripped away, you are left with the only truth that ever mattered: you. In that silence, you face your raw, unfiltered self. There are no masks, no distractions, no noise, only your soul staring back at you, asking, "Who am I without them? Who am I without the world?" This is the sacred beginning of your transformation in solitude. The stillness you once tried to escape becomes the mirror through which you rediscover your essence. You begin to unlearn everything the world taught you about who you should be. You start to see how much of your identity was built on survival instead of purpose. The solitude becomes your teacher, your healer, your rebirth. At first, it feels heavy. The silence is deafening, the nights are long, and the emotions rise like tides you cannot control. But that's the purification process. Spirit is cleansing you of everything that kept you bound, your fears, your doubts, your attachments. The loneliness you feel is your ego dying piece by piece. It's painful, yes, but it's also sacred. For in that death, your true self begins to live. You start to feel things more deeply, see life more clearly, and hear the divine more distinctly. Solitude transforms you by forcing you to rely on your inner strength. There's no one left to rescue you, no one left to validate you, no one left to define you. It's just you and God, face to face. And that's when you realize you were never truly alone. The divine has been walking beside you in every silent moment, waiting for you to notice. You begin to understand that solitude was never about being without others. It was about learning to be whole within yourself. Chosen one. Solitude is where your spiritual muscles are built. It's the gym of the soul. When no one believes in you, you learn to believe in yourself. When no one listens, you learn to listen to your intuition. When no one supports you, you discover how powerful you truly are. The divine uses isolation to reveal the warrior within you, the version of you that doesn't depend on approval or applause. This transformation is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been beneath the layers of fear and conditioning. In solitude, your spirit awakens to its divine identity. You realize you were never ordinary. You were extraordinary all along. The noise of the world had just drowned out your inner knowing. But now, in the quiet, your soul begins to speak. It whispers truths that no book can teach, no person can tell you, and no experience can replicate. In solitude, you begin to realign with your higher purpose. You start to sense the divine timing of everything. You see how the betrayals pushed you toward self-love, how the losses redirected you toward alignment, how the pain became the path. You no longer curse your solitude, you honor it. You realize it's not a pause in your story. It's the chapter that defines your evolution. As the transformation unfolds, your energy shifts. The anxiety that once consumed you is replaced with peace. The self-doubt turns into inner knowing. The tears you once cried for validation become prayers of gratitude. You begin to move differently, calmer, wiser, more intentional. You no longer seek attention. You carry presence. You no longer chase love. You radiate it. You no longer fear being alone. You crave the stillness where your spirit feels most alive. Chosen one, solitude also reconnects you with your creative essence. Inspiration flows effortlessly when your mind is uncluttered. The divine begins to download visions, ideas, and insights into your heart. Guidance that can only come through silence. You start to create from authenticity, not imitation. Your gifts begin to blossom because now you are rooted in truth. This is the fruit of your transformation. If you are in this season, don't resist it. Don't numb it with distractions. Sit with yourself. Write. Meditate. Breathe. Let your thoughts pour out. Let your emotions surface. Every moment in solitude is shaping the version of you that will one day inspire others. You are not wasting time. You are being refined. You are being reborn in the quiet. Comment 333 if you are in your season of transformation, embracing your solitude and trusting your divine process. Let it be a declaration that you are no longer running from your stillness. You are owning it. Because this solitude, this divine quiet, is where your purpose is being perfected. When the world finally sees you again, you won't be the same. You'll move with grace, speak with authority, and carry a light that cannot be ignored. You'll thank the divine for the nights you cried alone, for they were birthing your strength. You'll understand that solitude wasn't your punishment, it was your sacred transformation. And when you emerge, chosen one, you won't just return, you'll rise, glowing with the wisdom only silence could teach. The role of divine timing and alignment. Chosen one, everything in your life, every loss, delay, betrayal, and breakthrough has been unfolding according to divine timing. Nothing has been random, nothing has been wasted. Even the moments that felt like chaos were secretly working in your favor. You see, the divine has a plan so precise that even your detours are directions. But to recognize that, you must understand that divine timing isn't built on your schedule, it's aligned with your purpose. And there were things you wanted that didn't happen when you expected. Doors that seemed perfect never opened. People you prayed to keep were removed. Opportunities that looked promising fell apart. But chosen one, that wasn't rejection. It was redirection. Spirit knew that if those things had come too early, they would have destroyed your peace or distracted your mission. The divine doesn't delay to deny you. It delays to prepare you. You weren't being punished, you were being positioned. Divine timing is the rhythm of your destiny. It's how the universe orchestrates every event to bring you into perfect alignment with who you are meant to become. The human mind grows impatient. It wants results now, clarity now, blessings now. But the spiritual path demands trust. The Creator doesn't rush what He's refining. When a diamond is formed, it stays in the pressure for as long as it takes to reach perfection. The same applies to your journey. The waiting, the silence, the uncertainty, they are all shaping you for what's coming. Chosen one, you must understand that alignment is not something you force, it's something you allow. When your heart, mind, and spirit are in sync with the divine, everything begins to flow naturally. You don't have to chase. What's meant for you begins to find you. You stop begging for doors to open and instead, you walk through the ones that unlock effortlessly. This is what divine alignment feels like. It's not about striving, it's about surrender. It's not about control, it's about trust. Sometimes the reason you had to walk alone was to realign. The relationships that fell apart, the paths that ended abruptly, the dreams that shifted, all were divine corrections steering you back toward your truth. Spirit will not allow you to stay in spaces that contradict your purpose. The more awakened you become, the more sensitive you are to misalignment. You start feeling drained in places you once felt comfortable, uneasy around people who no longer resonate. That's your soul signaling that something is out of tune. And when the divine notices that misalignment, it intervenes. It closes doors you would never close yourself. It ends connections you were too attached to. It redirects your focus toward new beginnings that align with your higher calling. It hurts, yes, but alignment always requires surrender. You cannot carry old energy into a new season. Chosen one, there's a reason you didn't fit in where you thought you belonged. There's a reason those plans fell through. Spirit saw what you couldn't see, that your timeline and your destiny were not matching. So, the divine pressed pause. You may have called it delay, but in truth it was divine synchronization. The moment your energy rises to meet your purpose, everything you once waited for begins to manifest effortlessly. There's a sacred peace that comes when you trust divine timing. You stop fighting the flow. You stop comparing your journey to others. You understand that what's meant for you will never miss you, and what misses you was never meant for you. Your blessings are tailor-made. They arrive not a moment too early, not a moment too late, but precisely when you've grown enough to receive them. Chosen one, divine timing also reveals divine protection. Sometimes the delay was the mercy you didn't recognize. The person you thought was your soulmate would have broken your spirit. The job you wanted would have suffocated your creativity. The opportunity you chased would have distracted you from your purpose. Spirit closed those doors because it saw the storm behind them. Every unanswered prayer was actually an answered protection. So instead of asking, "When will it happen?" begin to ask, "How can I align myself with divine timing?" The answer lies in surrender, patience, and inner peace. Stop trying to rush what's sacred. Stop doubting when it takes time. You are not behind. You are right on schedule, because divine time is not measured in minutes. It's measured in readiness. The divine waits for your soul to mature enough to handle the blessing without losing your grounding. The moment you surrender control, everything begins to fall into place. The divine aligns the right people, places, and opportunities at the exact moment you're ready. You start noticing signs, synchronicities, repeating numbers, and confirmations that tell you you're aligned. You're no longer chasing, you're attracting. You're no longer wandering, you're walking in purpose. Chosen one, take this as your confirmation. You haven't missed anything. You haven't been forgotten. Every season of waiting, every moment of silence, every delay, it's all divine alignment in motion. Trust that your breakthrough is not just coming, it's being crafted perfectly for you. The divine never fails to deliver what is meant to be yours. So, breathe. Be patient. Rest in the knowing that everything you're praying for is already on its way, carried by divine timing. Your steps are being ordered even when you can't see the map. Every closed door, every painful ending, every quiet night, they're aligning you with something greater than you can imagine. When it finally arrives, you'll look back and understand why it couldn't have happened any sooner. You are not delayed, chosen one. You are aligned. When isolation becomes revelation. Chosen one, there comes a turning point in your solitude when the silence begins to speak. What once felt like punishment starts to feel like peace. The loneliness that once broke you begins to reveal wisdom that transforms you. This is the moment when isolation becomes revelation. You realize that you were never truly alone. The divine was with you all along, waiting for you to quiet the noise of the world so you could finally hear the truth. In the beginning, your isolation felt like darkness. You questioned everything. You wondered why no one understood you, why you had to lose so much, and why your path seemed so uncertain. But slowly, as the dust settled and your mind became still, the light of awareness began to rise within you. You started to see patterns you never noticed before. You began to understand the meaning behind your pain, the lessons behind your losses, and the divine order behind what once seemed like chaos. That's the sacred purpose of isolation. It opens your inner eye. Chosen one, revelation does not come through noise or crowds. It comes through stillness. The divine uses silence to teach what words cannot express. When you're surrounded by people, you often absorb their energies, their opinions, their fears. But when you're alone, all that fades. You begin to sense your own vibration. You start to hear your intuition clearly, no longer clouded by the expectations of others. The same silence that once scared you now becomes your sacred sanctuary, a holy ground where divine truth unfolds. This is when you start receiving insights that feel like downloads from the heavens. Your perception deepens. You begin to understand why certain doors had to close, why people had to leave, and why you had to walk through the wilderness. Everything starts to make sense. The confusion turns into clarity. The pain transforms into purpose. The divine begins to reveal to you that your isolation was a sacred initiation, an awakening designed to bring you back to your higher self. When isolation becomes revelation, your perspective shifts. You no longer see solitude as emptiness. You see it as divine intimacy. The quiet moments become conversations with spirit. You start to trust the whispers that guide you. You realize that the answers you were searching for externally have always lived within. The voice of the divine was never distant. It was just waiting for your stillness. In this phase, you begin to develop spiritual discernment. You can feel truth when you hear it. You can sense deception without needing proof. Your awareness sharpens, your energy becomes lighter, and your presence gains power. People around you may not understand this shift. They might even feel uncomfortable in your presence. But that's because revelation raises your frequency. You no longer match the energy of confusion. You vibrate with clarity. And clarity is intimidating to those who still live in illusion. Chosen one, your revelation in solitude also brings you healing. You begin to see that forgiveness isn't for others, it's for your freedom. You start to release old grudges, old wounds, old memories that once held you captive. You stop seeking closure from others because you found peace within yourself. You realize that you never needed them to understand. You only needed to understand yourself. This is the wisdom that isolation births. And here's the truth most never reach. Revelation in isolation reveals your divine identity. You finally see yourself the way the Creator sees you, powerful, purposeful, and pure. You remember that you were never meant to blend in. You were meant to awaken others through your very existence. The time you spent in silence was your spiritual training ground. Every tear was watering the seed of divine wisdom within you. When revelation comes, your energy changes. You stop chasing and start attracting. You stop fearing and start trusting. You stop asking, "Why me?" and begin saying, "Thank you." Gratitude replaces confusion. Faith replaces fear. You begin to realize that everything, even the moments that broke you, was guiding you closer to your divine alignment. You begin to walk with a quiet confidence, a knowing that you are guided, protected, and divinely supported at every step. Chosen one, this is the moment when your isolation transforms into illumination. You begin to notice divine synchronicities, numbers, signs, dreams, messages, all aligning perfectly with your new awareness. You understand that the universe speaks in patterns, and now you can finally read them. The veil that once blurred your understanding has been lifted. You no longer question your journey because revelation has given you vision. If you are in this season, honor it. Don't rush out of your solitude just because it feels quiet. That silence is sacred. It's where your divine connection strengthens, Protect it, nurture it, use it to build your inner foundation, so when you re-enter the world you do so with purpose and presence. And when you do step back out, you'll find that your energy carries authority. People will sense peace when they're around you. They'll feel truth in your words without knowing why. That's because revelation has marked you. The light of understanding shines through you, and that light cannot be hidden. So, chosen one, be still, and know that your isolation was never a detour. It was your divine classroom. You were separated to see, silenced to hear, and hidden to heal. When isolation becomes revelation, you no longer crave validation because truth itself becomes your companion. You finally realize that solitude was not your end. It was your awakening. You are not lost. You are enlightened. You are not broken. You are becoming. And now you carry within you the wisdom of both silence and light. Stepping into your power. Chosen one, this is the moment everything you've endured begins to make sense. Every lonely night, every silent season, every heartbreak and betrayal, they were all leading you here. You've been through the fire, through the darkness, through the storm, and now the divine whispers. It's time. Time to step into your power. Time to walk as the version of yourself that your trials were preparing you to become. You've been refined, not ruined, strengthened, not scarred. And now you rise, not as who you were, but as who you were always meant to be. Stepping into your power is not about arrogance, it's about remembrance. It's remembering that you were chosen before you even knew what chosen meant. It's remembering that your light was never meant to fit into small spaces or dim to comfort others. The world has tried to convince you to shrink, to silence your voice, to second-guess your calling. But no more. This is your awakening. This is where you stop apologizing for your power and start embodying it with divine authority. Chosen one, the power you're stepping into was forged in your solitude. Every tear, every test, every season of isolation was shaping the strength you now carry. You had to lose everything that was false so you could become everything that's true. You learned to depend on your intuition, to trust divine timing, and to move even when no one understood your path. That's what makes you unstoppable. Your power isn't loud or boastful, it's steady, silent, and unshakable. When you step into your power, you stop begging for doors to open and start realizing you are the door. You stop chasing opportunities and start attracting them. You stop waiting for permission and start walking in purpose. The same things that used to intimidate you now recognize your authority. You begin to speak differently, walk differently, think differently, because your spirit has remembered its own strength. The divine within you has awakened, and there's no going back. But stepping into your power also requires courage. You will have to let go of who you were to fully embrace who you're becoming. Some people won't understand this version of you. They'll call you distant, arrogant, or changed, but that's because you no longer operate from the same frequency. You've outgrown small talk, meaningless cycles, and draining connections. You crave purpose, depth, and truth. And that's how you know you're walking in alignment with your higher self. Chosen one, don't dim your light to make others comfortable. Your glow will expose what others try to hide. But that's part of your purpose. You are not meant to blend in. You are meant to illuminate. The divine gave you gifts, not so you could hide them, but so you could use them. Whether through your words, your energy, your actions, or your very presence, you are meant to awaken others. Your journey wasn't just about finding your power, it was about becoming the living embodiment of divine truth. When you step into your power, the universe begins to respond differently. Opportunities align, synchronicities increase. You attract people who match your energy instead of draining it. You no longer seek validation because your spirit is the validation. You walk with an inner calm that others can't explain, and that calm is your evidence of divine alignment. Everything that once felt uncertain now feels orchestrated. You realize that you were never waiting on the universe. The universe was waiting on you. Chosen one, your power is not in what you control, but in what you surrender. True power flows through trust, trusting that every step is guided, that every setback was set up, that every delay was divine preparation. You don't have to force what's meant for you. You only have to be ready for it. That readiness is your power. Now is the time to walk boldly in your purpose. The time for doubting yourself is over. The time for questioning your worth is done. You've walked through the valley and now you stand on sacred ground. The divine has equipped you with wisdom, strength, and clarity. You are not who you used to be. You are the storm that survived. You are the light that never went out. So rise, chosen one. Speak truth. Walk tall. Let your presence remind others that the divine still moves through humanity. Share your message, live your mission, and never again hide your light for fear of judgment. The world needs the power you carry. This is your season to shine, to create, to lead, to inspire. You've been hidden long enough. It's time to be seen. And as you step fully into your divine power, remember this. Your journey wasn't meant to break you. It was meant to awaken you. You are not the same soul who once doubted your purpose. You are the embodiment of divine resilience. You've earned your light. Now it's time to shine without hesitation. The world is waiting for your rise, and the heavens are already applauding your return to power. Final message and closing reflection. Chosen one, take a deep breath. You've journeyed through the wilderness of loneliness, the depths of pain, and the fires of transformation. You've faced rejection, misunderstanding, isolation, and the quiet nights when it felt like even heaven was silent. But look at you now, still standing, still breathing, still walking toward the light. That strength within you was never ordinary, it was divine. You have not merely survived, you have been reborn. Everything you've gone through was necessary to awaken the power that now lives within you. You had to walk alone so that you could finally walk with truth. You had to be stripped of the noise of the world to hear the whisper of the divine. The loneliness you once cursed became the sacred ground where your soul met its purpose. Every tear was a baptism, every heartbreak a holy breaking open of your spirit. You see now that solitude was never a sentence. It was a sanctuary. It was the place where you met yourself and discovered that you were never truly alone. Chosen one, your journey has always been orchestrated by divine hands. There were moments when you thought you were lost, but in truth, you were being led. The detours were directions, the endings were beginnings, every delay was divine timing. The pain was your initiation, the confusion was your cleansing. And now, as you stand in the light of awareness, you understand. The divine never abandoned you. It was building you. The silence that once haunted you was the very space where God was speaking the loudest. Now you know that walking alone was never about losing people. It was about finding your purpose. The ones who couldn't walk with you were not part of the mission ahead. They belonged to the chapter that taught you who you are. But this next season, chosen one, is different. This is the season where everything begins to align. The same isolation that once broke you has now become your foundation. You've learned discernment, patience, strength, and faith. You've learned how to trust the unseen, how to move with intention, how to rest in divine timing. You've become a living example of what it means to rise after breaking. It's time to step into the fullness of who you are. The divine didn't bring you this far just to leave you here. There is more purpose, more peace, more abundance, more alignment waiting for you. You were chosen not just to endure, but to inspire. The world needs your light, your wisdom, your truth. Speak your story without shame. Walk your path without apology. You have been through too much to ever shrink again. Chosen one, remember, your isolation taught you strength, but your revelation gave you sight. Now your elevation demands action. This is your time to embody everything you've learned. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to seek validation. You are already enough. Every experience, good or bad, was preparation for this moment. You are standing on sacred ground, and everything that once worked against you is now working for you. Look at your journey through the eyes of gratitude. Thank the pain for teaching you compassion. Thank the loneliness for giving you clarity. Thank the rejection for redirecting you toward alignment. Thank the divine for never letting you settle for less than your calling. Everything served a purpose, and now everything is coming full circle. So as you close this chapter, hold your head high and your heart open. You have become the version of yourself that your younger self dreamed of. You are the proof that divine timing is real. You are the living testimony that solitude creates strength and that faith always leads to revelation. You are not walking alone anymore. You are walking with the divine, with purpose and with peace. Before you leave, I want you to take a moment and affirm this truth out loud. I am chosen. I am guided. I am aligned. I am ready. Let those words sink into your spirit and anchor in your heart. You have walked through the shadows and now you stand in your light. You have learned the art of divine patience, and now your season of manifestation begins. If this message resonated with your soul, comment 999 below as your declaration that you're stepping into your divine purpose. Share this message with another chosen one who's still walking through their solitude. Let it be the light that reminds them they are never alone. Remember this always, chosen one. You didn't walk alone. The divine walked beside you every step of the way. Your solitude was your sanctification, your revelation was your rebirth, and your rise is your reward. You are ready, you are chosen, and the world is now ready to see the light that only you were meant to carry.